Here we're given the equation x equals -3, which is a vertical line through -3, and we are to find the slope. So vertical lines always have a slope that is undefined, and let me show you why that comes out in the arithmetic. Suppose I was to pick a couple of points, either by making out a xy table or just looking at the graph. The equation x equals -3 means that you're only allowed to replace the x value with -3. And then since there is no y in the equation, that means y can take on any value. So for example, let's just say that we let y take on 0 and 1. On the graph of the vertical line then, -3, 0 would be this point. -3 would be 3 units to the left on the x-axis, 0 units in the y direction. And the point -3, 1 would be that, again, 3 units to the left in the x direction, and then this time 1 unit in the y direction would be this point -3, 1. And if you wanted to use the slope formula then, it basically says take y sub 2 and subtract off y sub 1 in the numerator. In my case, that would be 1 minus 0. And in my denominator, I am to take x sub 2 and subtract off x sub 1, which in my case would be -3 is x sub 2. But be careful, I'm supposed to subtract whatever x sub 1 is, and x sub 1 is already -3. So looking at the slope formula, then in my numerator I have 1 minus 0, which is 1. And whenever you take a number and subtract itself, you get 0. Or you could think of it as when you subtract a negative, that becomes plus. So this would be plus 3. And then you could argue that -3 plus 3 is 0 in the denominator. And in mathematics, there's no meaningful way to divide by 0. So we decide just to say that it is going to be left undefined.